E aí, quer falar inglês? So let's go! Gente, desculpa, a minha voz definitivamente não está num dos melhores dias. Enfim, aqui no Brasil, quando chega o inverno, eu fico sempre gripada, pelo menos uma vez por inverno, porque eu não estou muito bem adaptada a nenhum tipo de frio, tá? Então desculpa aí, mas não vai ser por isso que a gente vai ficar sem vídeo, não. Tem esse vídeo hoje aí pra gente dar continuidade aos nossos estudos, com voz ou sem voz, vocês só vão ter que aturar aí meu patinho rouco que eu tô carregando aqui na garganta, tá? Então vamos lá, let's go! Então a gente vai dar continuidade ao nosso estudo sobre there is e there are, ok? Então esse é o segundo vídeo, tem o primeiro vídeo, se você ainda não assistiu, volte lá e assista. Esse vídeo é muito importante porque esclarece uma dúvida muito grande que nós brasileiros temos ao falar inglês. Tá? É uma coisa que parece boba, mas que afeta diretamente a comunicação e fica bem truncado, tá? Então, se você não assistiu a este vídeo, assista, volte lá, assista e depois volte aqui e assista esse trecho, tá bom? Então, essa é a parte 2 desse vídeo sobre there is e there are, ok? Então, vamos tentar usar somente inglês. Vou fazer uma coisa bem lúdica para a gente poder compreender usando gestual, body language, facial expressions, né? Expressões faciais, para você poder compreender e a gente já poder dar aquela ambientada no inglês, ok? So, let's go. So, we have there is and there are, right? So, I use there is and there are to talk about things that exist in a certain place, okay? So, for example, I can say, there are 3 bedrooms in my house. There are 3 bedrooms in my house. There is 1 bathroom in my house. There is a balcony in my house, okay? But, you know, in my house, in fact, I live in an apartment. I don't live in a house. And in my apartment, there aren't many people. There aren't many people because I don't have much space. There aren't many people, okay? In my apartment, there aren't many TVs. I don't like TV. My family doesn't like TV. So there aren't many TVs. We only have 2 TVs. So, if I want to know in your house how many TVs there are, I'm gonna ask, are there many TVs in your house? Are there many TVs in your house? Tell me, are there many TVs in your house? Okay, so pay attention to my question. Are there many TVs? Are there many TVs? Okay, so I'm going to construct this sentence inverting the order. All right, inverting the order. In the affirmative, I say there is a TV in my house. There are many TVs in my house. There are, there is. Okay, Nanny, but in the negative, I'm going to put not. There is not, and then I put it all together and I make there isn't, or there aren't, are not, aren't. But how about to make a question, to use the interrogative? How am I going to do this? I need to invert, okay? So if I say there is in the affirmative, in the interrogative, I'm going to use is there, invert. If in the affirmative, I would use there are. In the interrogative, I'm going to use are there. I invert the order, all right? So, are there many TVs in your house? And if I'm going to answer this question, I say no, there aren't many TVs in my house. In fact, there are only 2 TVs in my house, okay? So you see? You have to invert. So we have 3 different structures. We can talk about the affirmative, the negative, and the interrogative. These 3 aspects, they are similar, but you have to pay attention, okay? So in the negative, I need to put not. not. Okay? And this not comes after verb to be. Oh, Nanny, what is verb to be? No problem, relax. You don't need to memorize, oh my gosh, verb to be, negative, affirmative. Oh, no, you don't need to memorize. You don't need to memorize this, okay? It's not necessary. Just understand you have one structure to respect. There is not. There is not. There are not. There is, there isn't, because I put is and not together. So the pronunciation is isn't, there isn't. And if it's aren't, I say there are not, or there aren't. If I put are and not together, I'm gonna have aren't, okay? Aren't, are not, aren't. Very good. So let's do some examples. Let's use our houses, okay? Use your house to make examples. I'm gonna talk about my house, my apartment, okay? There is one kitchen in my apartment. There is one kitchen in my apartment. There are many windows in my apartment. There are many windows in my apartment. There are 3 bedrooms in my apartment. There are 3 bedrooms in my apartment. There are 2 bathrooms in my apartment. There are 2 bathrooms in my apartment. There is a balcony in my apartment. There is a balcony in my apartment. Okay? So I am talking about my house, my apartment. Now talk about your house, your apartment. How many bedrooms, bathrooms, kitchens, living room, bedroom? What is there in your house? Tell me about your house, okay? This is what I want you to do. Tell me about your house, all right? Now, I'm gonna talk about my neighborhood, okay? Country, city, country, state, city, neighborhood, okay? So I'm gonna talk about my neighborhood. In my neighborhood, there are many restaurants. There are many restaurants in my neighborhood. There are many schools in my neighborhood. There are many schools in my neighborhood. But there are few daycare centers in my neighborhood. There are few daycare centers in my neighborhood. Do you know what is a daycare center? No, a daycare center is a school for babies. School for babies, okay? You get a very small baby and you can't take to the school, but you take to the daycare center, which is a school for babies, okay? So in my neighborhoods, there are few daycare centers, okay? There are a couple of hospitals in my neighborhood. There are a couple of hospitals in my neighborhood, okay? Let me see. Oh, there is a subway station in my neighborhood. There is a subway station in my neighborhood. There isn't a train station in my neighborhood. There isn't a train station in my neighborhood. There are many apartments in my neighborhood. There are many apartments in my neighborhood. But there aren't many houses in my neighborhood. There aren't many houses in my neighborhood. Are there houses in your neighborhood? Are there? Okay, very good. So look, this is to practice there is and there are. Forget using have, okay, Brazilian students? Don't use have to talk about things that exist. I only use have for possessions. Very good, way to go. So practice. Tell me what is there in your house. Describe your house to me and tell me what is there in your neighborhood, okay? And then after you describe, you have to make interrogative questions, okay? For example, are there 3 bedrooms in your house? Are there many hospitals in your neighborhood, okay? Is there a balcony in your apartment? So you have 3 exercises. Create sentences about your house using there is and there are. Create sentences using there is and there are about your neighborhood. And make interrogative questions using is there or are there, ok? Então fica a dica e let's go!